Hey up folks, welcome to Sonofdel's live vlog on this, the 26th of March. It's been 2 weeks since my last vlog. Coming up on today's vlog, I've got a book review of The Age of Bowie by, hang on, is it Paul Morley? I'll make sure I've got his name right so I don't sound like an idiot. Yeah, Paul Morley, and it's The Age of Bowie. And I'll be doing a book review about that. I'll be talking, my last word today is going to be karma, because of something that happened within the last few days, which I'll explain about. I'll also be talking about what I've been doing since my last vlog, which includes an anniversary, mine. And also, I'll be just showing you a couple of things which we've either had bought or I've bought. So, yeah, coming up anyway. First, I'll do the book review of the Paul Morley book, The Age of Bowie. Now, here we go, my book review. This is the book I will be reviewing today. It's called The Age of Bowie by Paul Morley, and as you can see, it's quite a thick book. Now, I'm a massive David Bowie fan, as anybody who knows me knows, and I wasn't too sure about a biography that was written about him, because I'd rather have read an autobiography, you know, his own personal feelings, but this is as close as you can get. Now, what I love about it is it explains everything from his childhood upwards. It doesn't lack in any details. What I particularly like is there's a section of the 1970s where it's dissected each year to say what he did in that particular year. You've got analysis of all his albums, you've got information about him as a person, and it's not just loading up to him either. It's not just saying, oh, he was an absolute genius, there was nothing wrong with him, he was flawless. It points out his flaws and how he dealt with them. It doesn't tell you a lot about his private life from 1990 onwards, which I'm glad, because he kind of sort of retired from public identity about 1990, give or take, just after Tin Machine. But like I said, it's a fantastic book. It is really, really in-depth. You've got to want to know about everything to read this, because it's very, I'd say you've got to be quite intellectual to read that. I know you're wondering why I read it, but I did. And it is brilliant, it really is. And I would give this one 9 out of 10. I would give it 9 out of 10. It is that good. It took me a few days to read it all, and not because I didn't want to read it, because I got to a stage where I was actually feeling too tired to read it. Now, like I said, I've had everything of David Bowie's. I've got all his albums, some on vinyl, not many, I'm trying to get more on vinyl. And this goes all the way from his David Bowie, when he was basically, when he first came and he wanted to make an impact, he brought out a CD called David Bowie. It was just called that, and he was hoping it was going to be like a debut CD which would launch, album that would launch him, but it didn't. It didn't. It shows his struggles and everything, but it goes all the way up to Black Star. It goes all the way to Black Star, and it even mentions Lazarus, which was obviously the musical based on The Man Who Fell to Earth, if I'm not mistaken. Now, I have just actually had The Man Who Fell to Earth. My wife has bought it me for one of my anniversary presents, so I will be watching that in the next few days. I've seen it a long time ago, but I'll be doing a review of that on my next vlog, and that's The Man Who Fell to Earth Blu-ray, and it's David Bowie, well, of course. And what I love about this as well, what I do like about this, is there's a lot of funny stuff in there. And I don't mean funny like jokey anecdotes. I mean stuff that makes you laugh, like when they were trying to find somebody to play The Man Who Fell to Earth, the alien. They needed to find somebody who could easily play somebody who didn't look like he belonged. Well, that was perfect at the time, because bear in mind, David Bowie at that time was a bit of a drug addict. He was a drug addict. He was always stoned out of his brains and all over the place. So they reckoned he'd made the perfect person to play somebody who not supposed to belong. And obviously, as you can tell, if you ever see the film The Man Who Fell to Earth, it's absolutely brilliant. But bear in mind when it was made, before you start saying the effects aren't that very good, it was made very long time ago. You're talking 50, 60 years, well, hang on, over 50 years ago. No, nearly 50 years ago, sorry, nearly 50 years ago it was made. So you think about that and think how far technology's come. But yeah, it's there, it's Paul Morley, it's The Age of Bowie, and if you get a chance to read it, read it because it's fantastic. It really is. 9 out of 10 all the way. The only reason I'm not giving it 10, it's a bit of a strange reason, but it's my reason. The reason I'm not giving it 10 is because it does go into a lot of history of people who influenced him. So you get to hear about the 1920s and the 1930s music and all this sort of stuff. Now, yeah, it's important to the book, but it did get me yawning a few times because of what it was, if you know what I mean. Because of what it was, it made me yawn. And another funny thing in there, which I never realised, when he played The Man Who Fell to Earth, he turned down the role to play one of my favourite roles, which Christopher Walken ended up playing, and that's Max Zorin in A View to a Kill, the James Bond film. Well, David Bowie was the first choice for that. Believe it or not, David Bowie could have been Max Zorin, who brilliantly played by Christopher Walken. Over the top, completely over the top, you know, a typical James Bond villain, and he played it brilliantly. But I can't help thinking and wondering what it would have been like with David Bowie playing the part. I'd love to have seen that. I'd love to have seen that. But yeah, that's my book review this time, and it's The Age of Bowie by Paul Morley, and I will give it 9 out of 10. A definite good read. Now, since I last spoke to you, we haven't been doing a lot, as in a lot of proper stuff. We've been going here and there. We've been nipping across to Costa like we did again last Sunday. We went across to Costa and we had a cappuccino. And the funny thing is about the cappuccinos is they come in these massive mugs, right? I'll show you a picture in a minute. You'll be able to see it in a sec. This is it. As you can see, the mugs are massive, absolutely massive. And we basically just went over there, went to Lidl, had a chill out, had a coffee. I wasn't really in a fantastic mood last Sunday again, so it helped to get out and just have a coffee. Now, one brilliant thing that's happened since I last spoke to you is yesterday was mine and my wife's 9th wedding anniversary, and it seems like yesterday. And as you can see from these presents, which I'm going to show you now and talk you through them, the first one is a brilliant miniature set. And if you look at this video now that's coming up, I'll talk while I'm on the video actually, so you can actually hear it and see it. Look at the size and the detail in this. And then when I pull away in a minute, watch the size compared to what you might think it is. It literally is just a bit bigger than my thumb nail, down to my first joint of my thumb. That's how big it is. And it's fantastic, it is, and it was done by Michelle next door, and she is absolute expert, and I mean an expert at doing miniature stuff like dolls' houses and miniature caravans and all sorts of stuff. She is absolutely brilliant at it, and every time when it's a birthday or Christmas, we buy her one of the miniature kits and let her build it, and then we just marvel at how fantastic it is once it's done. So that was one thing, but just have a look at this. Now, this was a present off my next door neighbour Tony, his mum Janet, and she never forgets our anniversary. She was at the wedding and she never forgets the anniversary, and she always brings us something to do with whatever the year is. Well, because we've been married 9 years, the 9 years is pottery, and she bought us these mugs now. And as you can see, looking at these mugs, there's one pink, one blue, and we actually managed to open the right ones without knowing, because it was 2 boxes sellotaped together. And I opened one and Deb opened one, and I'd managed to open the blue one and Deb managed to open the pink one. But as you can see, it says 3,285 days since we got married. Well, I went on as well at the same time as we'd figured this out. We went on to Google and we actually found out how many days it was between when we first met and today and yesterday. And there was over 8,100 days between the 23 years that me and my wife have been together. And you know, it's amazing how fast it goes. It really is. I mean, my wife's 46, so she spent half of her life with me. So she must have pulled a short straw somewhere or something or other. Anyway, we're still absolutely mad about each other, madly in love. And I know it sounds soppy, but I don't care. And what I did for her for our anniversary is I did a video poem, which I've uploaded on another vlog. So if you want to see that, it's on a separate vlog. Go into my actual channel and look for a category called video poetry, and it's in there. and I did a special poem for it, all pictures of her and me together, and I talked the poem over the top of it, and I put that it was for the 9th anniversary, etc. If you like video poetry and you want to give it a bash, give it a watch and let me know what you think. Any comments, always appreciated, because I'm not an expert at video editing and stuff like that. I'm not an expert at creating vlogs. I just do it for fun. I enjoy doing it. Now, at the same time that I got Deb, did the video poetry, the video poem, she bought me a lovely card which says best husband since 2014, which I love. But she also bought me this. Now, first of all, I'll show you what she bought me, and then I'll show you a picture of me wearing what she bought me. And this is what she bought me. As you can see, it says epic husband since 2014. And here's a picture of me wearing it. And I've actually must have lost a little bit of weight, because I seem to have lost weight in my face. I don't seem to be as round faced as I used to be looking at this picture. But yeah, it's very, very cool. I absolutely love it. But my main present was this. Now, as well as being a David Bowie fan, I also happen to be absolutely mad on Depeche Mode. I've got every album they've done. I've got a couple of live DVDs they've done. And just recently they brought out an album called Memento Mori. And it came out on Friday. And Deb got me the limited edition CD, which is there, double deluxe CD with a booklet. It's got a booklet, as you can see how thick it is. It's got a booklet in there. But this is the pièce de résistance. It is a triple vinyl set, and it's red vinyl. It is literally red see-through vinyl, and I haven't opened it yet. I'm not brave enough to open that yet, but if I do open it, you'll see it on a later vlog. But Deb bought me this. Now, what I got Deb is something which you might see unboxed on my next vlog, because we're hoping it'll be here by then. Now, as you know, Deb's mad on reading, as I've told you before. And as well as getting her a couple of books, there's a thing out called the Fairy Loot subscription box. Now, I know that sounds a bit ominous, but it isn't. They basically bring out young adult or fantasy or adult books, and they are usually limited edition, so that the design on the cover is only available in that Fairy Loot box. Now, some of the designs are absolutely stunning, and my wife literally has wanted one of these Fairy Loot boxes for ages, and they are that hard to get. You have to put your name on a waiting list. And she actually put her name on a waiting list, and about 6 to 8 weeks ago she got accepted onto the Fairy Loot subscription, and her first box should be here any day now, hopefully within the next week. And then once you see that on the on my next vlog, it'll be on my next vlog, you can see that, and you can make up your mind whether you you know, it's something you might want. If it is, then I might put the details underneath and you can put your name on the watch list or whatever. But that'll be on my next vlog. Now, I'm going to finish today because it's only a short vlog today, but I'm going to do now my last word. And my last word is karma. Now, as you probably know, I've been married before, and I was married to a woman who treated me like a punch bag and also mentally and physically abused me for a good 2 years before I decided I'd had enough and I left. Now, I got a message off my friend Ian, who lives down in Stoke, Ian Marrick. He messaged me and he showed me a picture of somebody's Facebook site. And on this Facebook site was, it shocked me really, was a thing saying that my ex-wife had passed away. And I was a bit shocked at first because she was only 44 and apparently she's passed away after a long illness. Now, the reason I said my last word is karma. Now, I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about this. I don't know how I'm supposed to feel. It's a tough one. Because she used to go around telling people that she'd got serious illnesses when she hadn't. She used to make out things about herself that weren't true just for the attention. And I think karma has literally come back and bitten her in the backside, because it's genuine that she has passed away. She passed away in December last year. And in some ways, you know, a lot of people in my shoes would be really glad and happy and glad she's gone and all that. But what I always said was, I don't hold anything against her. Now, I don't know whether that's more my character over her character or whatever. I never hated her. I never hated her. I felt sorry for her. But if it hadn't have been for the way she treated me badly, I would never have met the woman who I absolutely love and will worship till the day I die. I wouldn't have met her. I wouldn't have been on the website that linked to where she was and talked to her and met her and got together and got engaged and got married. There'd have been none of that. So in some ways, I can't hate her. I can't despise the woman. And I think karma, to be honest with you, I haven't got no beliefs. I don't believe in anything religious. I haven't got no religious beliefs in me, but I do believe in karma. I believe that if you treat somebody so badly, or something so badly, or you do things badly, sooner or later, 9 times out of 10, karma will catch up with you. And when it does catch up with you, it will literally kick you up the ass. You will not stand a chance, mate. Whatever it's got planned for you, it will get its revenge. Now, I haven't always led a good life. I've done things I've been ashamed of in my life, but for the last 25 years or so, I've kept on the right side of everything. I've been decent. I know I've been decent. I've definitely been loving. I've looked after my wife and made sure that if anything happens to my wife, anybody wanted to get to my wife, they'd have to go through me first. Now, I'm not a fighter. I'm not one of these, oh, knock the shit out of people. I'm not like that. But I would put my life on the line for my wife more than I'd put it on for myself. You know, if somebody was going to do something to me, then fair dues. I can't do much about that. But I would never, ever let anything happen to my wife. No chance. Not way, shape or form. I'd jump in front of a steamroller if it was going to get here first, you know. I wouldn't allow it. And I've never felt that strongly about anybody. So karma really is one of those things that, though I was treated badly in a previous relationship and abused and thumped around and treated like a punch bag, I'm of the mind to think that karma basically said, look, you deserve a break. And I got the break. And here I am. So every time you think about karma, just remember, if somebody's done something bad to you, let karma deal with it. Don't let it ruin your life. Don't let it rule your life. You know, I did for the first few months, don't get me wrong, because when I left my first marriage, I was a shell. I was literally no speaking. I couldn't communicate with people properly. I wasn't very sociable. I withdrew a bit, really. I withdrew into a bit of a hole because I'd been left with a load of debt. I had no confidence, no self-confidence, no nothing. I wouldn't have dared do something like what I do now with this vlog. You know, and it's weird to think that just in 20-something years, and bear in mind I've been on the planet 50, so literally for almost half of my life now, I've lived a life that I'm really, really happy with. You know, that I can say, yeah, you know, I haven't got everything that everybody's got. I haven't got loads of money and I can splash out on things left, right and centre. But I've got a roof over my head. I've got a lovely wife. I've got a fantastic place to live. You know, I live in a nice house. I'm not going to say it's, you know, doesn't need repairs. It does. But at least it's a roof over my head. You know, and it's big enough for me, my wife and the dog. And we manage, and whenever we've got a problem, we don't let it destroy us. We sit down and we talk about it, and we get things out in the open. Because the worst thing you can do, which I found obviously with living with somebody who was abusive, was bottling things up. Because I bottled things up for absolutely ages. All the abuse that she gave me and everything, and it was only when I was living on my own, living back with my mum again, that it hit me how bad I was, how depressed I was, how sad I was, how I just wanted to end everything. I didn't want to live. I didn't want anything, to be honest with you. I just wish the world would have just took me. If I'd have died in my sleep, I wouldn't have even bothered. And I used to have these like recurring nightmares where somebody was coming, I was lying in bed and somebody was coming at me with a knife, and rather than try and attack them and try and take the knife off them, I lay back and hold my neck like that, so that they could get a better angle for actually stick a knife in my throat. That's how bad it was. But I like to think that karma has said to me, you know, has come along and said, look man, you deserve a bit of a break. You can't do anything about your disabilities, they're getting worse, so let's give you a break in a relationship way. And to be honest with you, I'd take my disabilities any day of the week if it meant I'd got somebody like Deb in my life. You know, I wouldn't swap my health for good health if it meant I lost the love of Deb. No chance, I wouldn't do it. Never in a million years. So I'm hoping, if you're listening to this and you know you have got a bit of a karma issue going on, if somebody's treated you bad, or if you treated somebody bad as well, it could be you treating the person bad, just remember that karma might come back and bite you. And if it does, you can't blame anybody. You can't do the, oh, woe is me, God, look at me, what's happened, da-da-da. Because sometimes, well, not all the time, but sometimes people do ask for what happens to them because of the way they are. And I hope if you do treat people well, they treat you well. And I hope if you treat people badly, you learn before it's too late. Because once it's too late, it's too late. You know, once you've lost friends because they've treated you badly, they've ignored you, they've not been there when you've needed them. I mean, I'm lucky because I've got friends who are there. I've got a female friend called Sarah down in Leicester. She's there for me all the time, no matter what. And I've got a friend called Ian in Stoke, who I've known since I was 15 years old. That's Ian Maddock. And I've also got another friend who I don't speak to as much, but I know that at a pint he would be there for me. And that's Mr. Ian Burgess. And I've known Mr. Ian Burgess since I was about 8 years old. So I've known him a good 40-something years. And I'm lucky that I've got friends who I can turn to. And I've even got neighbours that are best friends. They're more like family, which is Tony and Michelle next door. They are like family to us. They're like brother and sister, to be honest with you. We wouldn't get on any better if they were brother and sister than what we do now. And we've got a lovely little close-knit community here. We look out for each other in the street. We've got a couple of elderly people. We've got loads of young people. There's a little lad across the road, you know, who calls us auntie and uncle. And we've even got people coming past that just wave when they see us in the window. And it's funny because we don't even know the names. But there's this couple that come past and they're a lovely couple, lovely middle-aged couple, and they wave at us every time, and it makes Deb laugh because she hasn't got a clue who they are. And I know who they are, but I don't know the names. I don't know, you know, they come past all the time, and I just started by waving at the man, and the man waved back. I thought, cool, no problem. Then when the woman come past with him, she was waving at me as well. So now every time they come past, they've got big grins on their face, and they just wave at us. And it's really nice, you know, because I know a lot of people haven't got that sort of community spirit no more, which is a shame. It's a real shame, it is, honestly. Now, something that happened last night, I'm not going to go into too much detail because that sounds bad, doesn't it? I said it was my anniversary yesterday and then I'm going to tell you what happened at the night. I don't mean it like that. What I meant is, if you noticed last night in the UK, the clocks went forward an hour. Now, normally, I go to sleep about 12 o'clock, so I don't see the clocks go forward an hour. But yesterday, we'd made plans to have a chippy tea, which we did have from the Fisher's Place. Very good, not bad. The only trouble was it was only lukewarm when it got here. Because the woman decided to try and come into our estate at the bottom end, and the bottom end is blocked off with bollards. So she had to go all the way round and come round, and by that time our food was a bit lukewarm. But the quality of the food is absolutely stunning. And after that, we were supposed to be having an evening of watching Supernatural. Well, by the time I'd finished my tea, I was that full and I was falling asleep, and Deb said, do you want to lie down for an hour? This was 6:30. I said, yeah, go on, I don't mind having an hour, no problem. 9 o'clock when I woke up. 9 o'clock. So we came downstairs because Deb was watching a laptop next to me. She was watching Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency or something or other. Not Terry Pratchett, bloody Douglas Adams. Yeah. Anyway, she was watching that and I was a snooze, and I didn't know I'd had 2.5 hours. So we came down here, we watched 2 episodes of Supernatural, and then Deb was falling asleep. She was literally almost asleep on my shoulder. So we went upstairs, and of course I was awake at this point, so I just sat playing games on my phone for a little bit, and Deb had 2 hours. Now, of course, when she woke up, the clocks had gone forward, and she thought she'd had 3.5 hours. And it wasn't. It was 1:30, but it had gone forward to 2:30. So if that happened to you last night, anything to do with the time. And obviously today, now, I mean, we're looking at it, it's 5:10, where obviously yesterday it would have been 4:10. So it's going to stay light a lot longer. So it's going to be interesting these next few days, I must admit, because it's not going to be going dark till like 8 o'clock, 8:30 at night, which is really strange. Anyway, on that note, I've taught your legs off again. I've got my Jigsaw gallery to finish with. Hope you enjoy this. I know I should have put this in the middle, but I forgot all about it till just. Don't ask. It's just a James Bond, all about James Bond, the world of James Bond by Lawrence King Publishing. And there's a couple of pictures and then a video. And I'll do another vlog soon. You all take care and bye for now.